Namaste, welcome to Hatha Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and for today's spinal twisty focused on the physical practice side, you'll want to have two blocks and a strap. And let's begin, if it's appropriate for your body, to sit in hero's pose. You might like to place a block in between your ankles like this. As you set the knees in front of you, no wider than your hips distance apart, pointing the toes back so that the tops of your feet are resting flat on the ground. If this is not an appropriate position for your body, if you have some knee issues happening, of course, as with any of this practice, please adjust and sit in a way that works for you, where you're able to begin comfortably, spine is tall, and you feel grounded and relaxed. So I want to share an excerpt from the book Meditations from the Mat, written by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kennison. Starts with a quote by T.S. Eliot: "Hell is the place where nothing connects." Yoga practice gives us a daily experience of the power of connection. We come to the mat fresh from a culture that teaches us that safety is found in separation and disconnection. If we believe that what happens in one school system doesn't affect another school system, if we believe that what happens to one gender doesn't affect the other, if we believe that what happens in one part of the world doesn't affect the rest of the world, then we can convince ourselves that we are safe. But to rely on disconnection for protection is to rely on falsehood. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Truth pressed to the earth will rise again." Deep within ourselves, we know the truth. We know that we are all connected, that we are part of something larger than ourselves. But our unwillingness to honor that connection creates intolerable tension. We all carry this tension within us to some degree. When we step onto our mats, that tension is manifest in our relationships with our bodies. The body at the beginning of practice is a catalog of inadequacies. My shoulder is hurting today. I haven't been getting enough sleep. My legs are really tight. I haven't been here for 2 weeks and I'm really out of shape. We arrive at our mats with devalued bodies. A half hour into class, I pause and invite my students to take a moment to connect to the improved state of their bodies. Miraculously, the sack of potatoes they dragged into the studio has been transformed into an alive, responding, sensuous being. Their bodies have not changed. It is their experience of their bodies that has changed. Their practice has broken through the layers of falsehood, the sense of disconnection that formed in between classes. As we practice yoga, the intelligence of our minds enters into an ancient dance with the intelligence of our bodies. We become integrated once again. We experience the power of connection. Maybe close the eyes as you let your body find stillness. Noticing what you are experiencing in your physical body right now. Feel the breath in its natural flow. Sense your energy. Notice the state of both your heart and your mind. What feels alive in you there? Centering in the present. Let's start to deepen the breath, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the lips. Inhaling a little deeper. Once again, through the lips, emptying the breath. Continuing to lengthen your breath. What is something in this moment that you appreciate? And with a heart of gratitude, define your intention for your practice today. What quality are you connecting more deeply with through this practice? Clarity, peace, forgiveness. And let's continue to expand that feeling of connection onto someone else. Choose someone today that you would like to dedicate this practice to. And together, let's send the vibration of our intentions and dedications out as we internalize through sound as well, while creating resonance as we share a practice by chanting Om 3 times. With full breaths, let's begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, a breathing technique that invites calm, focus, and balance. Closing your lips, I invite you to gently narrow or softly constrict the back of your throat, creating a gentle whispering sound that you can hear as you're practicing the physical postures and movements. So listen to that sound now. And as you hear the sound of your breathing, invite equal slow lengths of inhales and exhales. And let the sound act as an anchor for your mind as we choose an anchored meditation to help bring our attention back to the present moment. Use the sound you're intentionally creating in your breathing just for the same purpose, as well as to gauge that you are breathing calmly and fully and slowly. And if your breath becomes abrupt or irregular or difficult, know that it's your responsibility to take care of your body, to slow down what you're doing, to take rest if that's what you need, in order to maintain that balance and slow pace of breath. So let's practice from those states. Start to make your way onto your hands and knees. And we're going to begin our first spinal twist here. So setting your hands flat at the front of your mat, spread your fingers wide and stack your shoulders over your wrists, but step your knees a couple of inches behind your hips. So as you feel your 2 knees on the floor, notice that your 2 hips, left and right, are as balanced in height as they can be. Now keep them balanced. In fact, firm your outer hips towards your midline and firm your belly slightly towards the back. Try to keep the pelvis still. And now inhale, raise your right arm out to the right. And then exhale, as the pelvis stays still, begin to rotate your rib cage to the left, threading the right arm underneath your left bent elbow Lower your head all the way down. If your head does not comfortably meet the ground, take one of your blocks and use it as a pillow to rest your head on. Now let's tune into 5 more even, slow breaths here. In, thread the needle. So as with all of our spinal twists that we're going to explore today, I invite you to really be mindful of keeping your lower back stable by not turning the pelvis there when we're doing upright twists. It's a little different when we're lying down, and I'll show you later. But for now, just focus on twisting just beneath your lowest ribs, and that's right across your waistline, using your obliques, your major twisting muscles, part of your core. As you empty the next breath, slowly make your way up to all fours again. And let's switch sides. Feel your 2 hips leveled in height, slightly firm in the belly. Hug the hips towards your midline. Inhale, reach your left arm out to the left. And then exhale, thread it underneath your right bent elbow. Lower the left side of your head all the way down. Remember to use a prop if your head does not meet the ground. And then feel again your hips stay leveled so your lower back is not twisting in that area. It's not meant to. And instead you're rotating the rib cage without rotating the pelvis. And for a few more breaths. Now slowly rise back to hands and knees. And let's move through a few cycles of cat-cow. Breathing in, glide your chest forward, coiling it up into cow pose. Breathing out, contract your abdomen, dropping your head to round into cat pose. Take a couple more slow cycles on your own. At the end of the next exhalation, tuck your toes with your feet hips distance apart. And lift your hips back, entering downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths if you need to move your body freely, such as pedaling your feet in place to warm up the backs of your legs, shaking and nodding your head to loosen your neck. Still listening to that gentle whispering sound in your breath. Let the movement dissolve as you lift your hips and firm the fronts of your thighs back, relaxing your neck as you roll the triceps towards the ground. Steady your gaze. Tune into 2 more slow breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, keep your hips leveled. Raise your right leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot lightly beside your right thumb. Lower your back knee, tuck the toes, and come up high on your fingertips. Optional to place your hands on blocks if that allows you more freedom to relax the shoulders. Breathing in, look up. Breathing out, lift the left knee, and let's enter a wide pyramid pose. Keep the feet where they are, draw the right hip back. Just straighten the legs to your degree. Bow as if you have a flat back. Inhale, kneeling lunge again. Look up. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. This time, lower the back knee. Imagine you're scissoring the legs to create stability. Rise into Anjaneyasana here. And with the arms overhead, relax the shoulders, lengthen the tailbone down. Slightly lift your frontal hip bones. And with your right hand, take hold of your left wrist. Breathe in and stretch the spine a little taller. Keep softening the shoulders down. Keep your right leg solidly still as you exhale, a side bend to the right, creating a lateral extension of the spine. Breathe in, lift the lower spine from your hips. If available, continue to side bend deeper as you breathe out. 3 more breaths. So your right side of your obliques, your twisting muscles is in contraction right now, and the left side is in extension. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause for a full cycle of breath and just feel your body. What's it telling you right now through sensations? Keep your two hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee. Keep the right toes tucked. Feel free to place blocks under your hands. As you inhale in your kneeling lunge, look up. Keep your feet where they are and exhale, lift the right knee. Begin to draw your left hip back towards straightening the leg and bow as if you have a flat back. Pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge again, look up. Exhale, wide pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, wide pyramid pose. Now lower the right knee. Imagine you're dragging the legs towards each other. As you inhale, rise into Anjaneyasana. With a long spine, slightly lift your frontal hip bones. Feel your hips squared or equally facing forward. With your left hand, take hold of your right wrist. Lengthen your spine as you inhale. Relax the shoulders down. Keep your left leg still as you exhale to side bend to the left. Right where you are, inhale, lift the lower spine from the hips. Exhale, if available, continue to side bend. 3 more breaths. Let's exit differently. Inhale, rise up, lower your hands at the top of your mat and step forward to fold. Separate the feet hips distance parallel. Press your fingertips either on your shins, blocks, or the floor. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward, engage the belly in. Half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. From down to your feet, inhale, sweep the arms forward and rise. Gently coil your chest up in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, trace your palms in prayer from your crown to your heart center. Let's begin sun salutation A. Inhale, sweep the arms. Turn your heart up towards the sun. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Plant your fingertips on your shins, blocks to the floor. Inhale, lengthen your spine into Ardha Uttanasana. Step into your plank, legs straight or knees down. Firm in the belly and exhale, shift forward. Bend your elbows back and lower halfway to Chaturanga Dandasana. Hug the elbows to your ribs. Then come all the way to the floor. Firm down through the tops of your feet and breathe into Cobra. Roll the shoulders back and gently lift your chest. Tuck your toes, press up. Exhaling, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Pause for 3 breaths. Let your gaze be steady. When you've emptied the 3rd breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. Press with your hands again, inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Press with your feet, inhale, rise to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands at your heart in Padasana. Let's keep going. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank and lower forward, then down. Once again, Cobra. Pelvis on the floor, tops of the feet rooting down. Roll the shoulders back as you inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause, cultivate stillness and focus as you listen to your breath. When you've emptied the next breath, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands in prayer in mountain pose. Let's move on to sun salutation B. Step your feet together and let the inner edges of your big toes touch, preparing for chair pose. With a breath, inhale, bend your knees to touch. Sit back towards your heels and raise your arms up in Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, shift forward and bow from your hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank and lower or lightly float to Chaturanga. Inhale either to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog. Keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb and spin your left heel down. Inhale, rise to stand in Warrior One. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Follow your breath pace. From Downward Dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, the foot beside your left thumb. Drop your right heel. Inhale, rise into Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Pause for 3 breaths again. Slow your breathing down. Reconnect with balance. Balance of exertion with ease. When you've emptied the 3rd breath, walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. With feet touching and knees touching, inhale, sit low in chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, rise to Padasana. Let's practice Surya Namaskar B once more. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Take it through your vinyasa in your way. Downward Dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, rise to Warrior One. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Second side, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale into vinyasa. Pause for 3 breaths. Tune into the breath. Sense the way your body feels here. On emptied breath, walk or jump lightly to the top. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Padasana. Pause for a few breaths. And then please take one of your blocks, and actually let's take 2 of the blocks, and step to face the wide width of your mat. Open the arms and step your feet apart, about as wide apart as the hands are extended. And then place a block behind each calf, block on the tallest height. And I'm not gonna be mirroring you here, so touch your right hip and turn open the right thigh from the right hip 90 degrees. So your right toes are facing the short edge of the mat. Turn in the left leg 45 degrees. And align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot, entering Warrior Two. Bend the right knee just above the heel. Rotate your right sitting bone beneath you and firm the top of your left thigh bone back. Open the arms and steady your gaze just past your right hand. Tune into 5 calm, balanced breaths. Virabhadrasana 2. Now let's prepare for triangle pose. Straighten your right leg, sweep your hips away from your right toes, and lengthen your torso towards the right toes, placing the right hand down on your right shin, on a block just to the right of the shin, or to the ground as long as you're not shortening the right side of your torso. Keep tracking the right hip crease back towards your left heel as you lengthen the crown of your head towards your right toes or past that edge of the mat. As you rotate your chest slightly towards the sky, draw the shoulder blades down your back. Now let's bring an extension into this triangle pose. Spin your left tricep towards the wall you're facing and extend the left arm overhead. If you want to activate your twisting muscles, your obliques more strongly, micro bend your right knee and raise the right arm parallel to the left. Palms facing each other, draw the shoulders down the back. Few more breaths here in Utthita Trikonasana variation. Now lower your right hand on the floor or block, upper right corner from your right toes, half moon pose. Drag the left foot forward and flex it off the ground, finding your balance as you recreate the shape of triangle while balancing on one leg. Ardha Chandrasana. Optional to raise the right hand off the floor and bring it to your heart. Maybe join both hands at the heart. Slowly begin to step the left foot back, re-entering Warrior Two. From Warrior Two, straighten both legs and parallel your feet towards the wide width of your mat. Start at neutral. Let's take the second side. From your left hip socket, rotate the left leg externally 90 degrees. Turn in the right leg 45 degrees and align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Then bend your left knee directly above your left ankle, rotating your left sitting bone under you. Firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Open your arms and steady your gaze just past your left hand for 5 more breaths here in Virabhadrasana 2. Let's prepare for triangle pose. Straighten the left leg, glide your hips back towards the opposite short edge of the mat. Reach the torso forward and lower your left hand lightly on left leg, block, or the floor. Spin your chest slightly towards the sky and tack your left hip crease back towards your right heel. Now let's add the extension. Rotate the right tricep towards the wall you're facing and extend the right arm overhead. Stay here or micro bend the left knee and extend the left arm overhead too. Taking your variation of Utthita Trikonasana for 4 more breaths. Now lower the left hand on a block or the floor, upper left corner from your left pinky toe. Drag your right foot in, flex it off the ground into half moon pose. Ardha Chandrasana. Find a point to steady your eyes on to help with balancing as you rebalance the flow of your breath. Now, if you feel pretty stable, and you might have done this on the first side, place a hand on the heart. maybe both hands in prayer. Tune into 3 or 4 more breaths. Then gently step your right foot back to warrior 2. Open the arms, breathe in. Exhale, cartwheel your hands for an optional vinyasa or cat-cow, or directly step into downward dog. Tune in to a few deep breaths. Then when you're ready, empty the breath and walk or float to the top of your mat. Take your 2 blocks while you're there. And as you fold over your legs, separate your feet hips width apart. Frame your outer heels with your blocks on the tallest height. And bring your hands to your hips. Point your elbows to the sky and breathe in to rise, all the way to stand. Now let's enter our next twist. Twisting triangle pose, Parita Trikonasana. Keep your feet in their separate lanes so that your 2 hips easily face forward, and slide your left foot back 2/3 as far as you did in warrior 1, so that you can keep the legs straight, both heels on the floor. Now with your right hand on your right hip, keep your 2 frontal hip bones equally facing forward and raise the left arm. Root down through the feet, engage the front muscles of your thighs, your belly, and inhale, lengthen the spine forward so you're hinging from the hips. Pause about parallel to the ground. Lower the left hand right under the left shoulder on the left side of the foot, maybe on a block if that helps. And keep the right hand on the right hip as you start to rotate your rib cage to the right. Remember, we're twisting at the waistline. So keep your 2 hips leveled. One way that you can help to know that you're leveling your hips is to use the block you're not placing your hand on to balance across the lowest part of your lower back. Now, as you root down through the feet, keep them strong, your legs strong, and inhale, stretch your spine forward, draw the shoulders back. Feel your obliques here, rotating the rib cage further as you raise the right arm. Now, if your balance feels pretty steady and you want to go further into the twist, place the left hand on the right side of your front foot. Maybe look up. 3 more breaths. Now, with both hands on blocks, actually just set the blocks down on the floor for a moment. Bring your hands to your hips. Breathe in to slowly rise. Let's enter pyramid pose. So bring the arms behind you to help open the front of the shoulders. Either press fist to fist against each other. Hold opposite forearms or elbows, or bring the palms together in prayer, reversed. Fingertips pointing up, sliding them between the shoulder blades. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs, energize your legs, and tilt your heart up as you inhale. Firming in the belly, exhale, begin to fold from the hips. Keep your hips equally facing forward. Root down through the feet, lengthen the spine a little more as you breathe in. And if it's available without rounding the shoulders, fold a little more as you breathe out. Parsvottanasana. Now let's place the hands on blocks. You might want them on their tallest height as you lengthen the spine parallel to the floor, engage the belly. Walk the blocks a foot in front of your right toes and lean into warrior 3, supported. Rotate your left outer hip to face the ground as you flex the left foot. Tack the right hip back and lengthen your torso forward. Check in with your breath. Notice the similarities, the connection, the relationship between each pose that's twisting in this sequence. They're very similar to each other. Keep your pelvis leveled. Maybe put the right block across the lowest part of the lower back to make sure you're not twisting there. Walk the left hand to the right so your left fingertips are about a foot in front of your right big toe. And with your right hand, draw the right hip back slightly and lengthen the torso forward. Keep flexing the left foot. Stretch through the left leg. Exhale, begin to turn your rib cage to the right. Similar to twisting triangle, but this is twisting half moon pose. And then maybe raise the right arm up. Inhale, lengthen through the midline of your body. Hug the hips still. And exhale, continue to twist. Maybe look up. Parita Ardha Chandrasana. Now do lower your hands again and bow into your right shin. Keep the hips leveled, standing splits. Set the left foot hips distance from the right, forward fold. Replace your blocks to frame your heels and bend your knees. Inhale to roll up to stand. Set a hand on your chest, hand on your lower belly, maybe close the eyes for 2 breaths. Notice what you feel right now. And then when you're ready, open your eyes, slide the right foot back 2/3 as far as warrior 1. Keep the legs straight, both heels on the ground. Let's keep the left hand on the left hip for twisting triangle. Raise the right arm up. Inhale, bow forward until your spine is about parallel to the floor. Lower the right hand on the right side of the front foot, block or the floor. Exhale, keep the pelvis still. Maybe balance a block across the lowest part of the lower back as you rotate the rib cage to the left. Inhale, root through the feet and lengthen the spine forward. Draw the shoulders back. Exhale, keep turning the rib cage. Maybe raise the left arm. Twisting triangle. Remove the block if you're balancing it on your lower back. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, rise up. Now let's prepare for pyramid pose. Bring the arms behind you, fist to fist, or hold opposite forearm or elbow on top, or reverse prayer. Hug your front ribs in, energize your legs, spread your toes. Inhale, lift your chest and look up. Keep your throat open and begin to hinge from your hips, breath by breath, into Parsvottanasana. Feel that your hips are equally facing forward so that you're inviting equal length along both sides of your torso. Now let's lower the hands on blocks again. Place the blocks on their tallest height. Inhale, lengthen your spine parallel to the floor. Walk the blocks a foot ahead of your left toes. Lean into warrior 3. Flex the right foot off the floor as you create a horizontal line out of right leg and torso. Square the hips, firm in the belly. You could use your left block again to balance across the lowest part of the lower back as we enter twisting half moon. Place your right hand about a foot in front of your left big toe and tack the left hip back with the left hand. Inhale, lengthen through the center line of your body. Keep the pelvis still and exhale, begin twisting to the left. Eventually, maybe raising the left arm. Parita Ardha Chandrasana, twisting half moon pose. Tune into 4 more breaths here. Remove the block if it's balancing on your back and lower both hands, standing splits. As you continue to lift the right leg and square the hips, bow towards your left shin. This time, step the right foot all the way to the rear of your mat, and let's meet in downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths. As you continue to level the height of your 2 hips, inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, cross the knee to touch left elbow or tricep, twisting across your waistline, come forward to plank. Straighten the right leg and flex the right foot, leaning the outer edge of the right foot on the floor towards your left wall. Spin the left heel to the ground and press the floor away with the right hand as you raise the left arm and fall in triangle. An arm balancing twist. Stay here or prepare for an arm balance where we lift the legs in Ekapada Kondinyasana 1. Planting both hands closer to you in a shorter stance. Bend the elbows towards the back of the room. And use your right thigh to lean across your upper arms, shifting your weight forward by gazing ahead. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Vinyasa, child's pose, whatever you want to plug in between. Deep inhale. Let it go. Exhale everything out. From downward dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, cross the knee to right elbow or tricep. Come forward, twisting at your waist. Straighten the left leg towards your right wall. Fall in triangle. Flex the left foot and lean the outer edge of it on the floor and spin the right heel to the ground. Press the floor away with the left hand and raise the right arm. Fall in triangle. Stay here or come into Ekapada Kondinyasana 1, the arm balance, where you set both hands closer to you so that you can bend the elbows like chaturanga towards the rear wall. Lean forward and place your left outer thigh on both upper arms. Let's meet in downward dog or take a moment in child's pose. Notice what posture will offer you a feeling of balance right now energetically. Be there for the next 3 breaths. Then, please lower your knees to the ground and come into hero's pose. Like we started. Let's open up the fronts of our thighs and hips, preparing for our final back bends. With Supta Virasana, supine hero's pose. So whether you're sitting on a block between the ankles, on your calves, or on the floor between your ankles, make sure that you're feeling the tops of your feet flat on the ground. Knees stay on the ground too, no wider than hips distance. Seal in your front ribs and lengthen your tailbone down, noticing that you're not compressing the lower back as you might begin to lean your torso back slowly. Just lean back as far as it's available for you to not feel pain, of course, or strain. There might be discomfort, but we're not forcing anything. Breathe and help to relax your body. You might lean back on props, your elbows, your hands, maybe on the ground. You're gonna be here for about 10 more breaths. If you're on the ground, make sure your knees stay on the floor and they're only hips width apart, not wider. You might choose to bring the arms overhead and hold opposite elbows. Seal in your front ribs and lengthen your tailbone towards the space between your knees to support lengthening your lower back. Take your time. Give it several breaths to slowly lift your torso upright again. Let's all meet standing on our knees. Take a block. Bring the skinniest width to hug firmly between knees and thighs as you tuck your toes behind you, preparing for our final back bends. 2 rounds of camel pose. So backstroke the arms, place the hands on your lower back, fingertips pointing down. Direct your tailbone downward towards between the knees and lift your back ribs, stretching your lower back. Keep your pelvis forward directly above the knees, and inhale, lift your chest. Drop the shoulders back, and right under the shoulder blades, begin to lift the chest. Look up. Hug the elbows closer together. Stay for your count of 5 or more breaths before you rise up and lower to sit. If it's available, while keeping the hips above the knees, drop one hand to hold the heel behind it. Switch heels, switch hands, or hold both heels. Deep breaths. Ustrasana. To help you come up, place your hands on your lower back and then have a seat, maybe on the block or on your calves. Maybe rest the hands at your heart center and tune in to the energy there. Round 2, camel pose. Once again, you could choose to use the block, which offers more support for the lower back if you need it, or no block. Just step your knees hips distance. Tuck the toes, or if you reach your heels comfortably and you want to go further, untuck the toes. Hands on the lower back, keep the hips right above the knees. Take it on your own for 5 or more breaths. Remember, deep breaths. Give yourself at least 3 breaths sitting and resting and tuning inward after that. And when you have, let's slide the legs out in front of you, preparing for our last spinal twist, which is a seated version. Begin with your left leg extended forward and step your right foot on the ground, either in front of your right hip or crossed outside of your left knee. You might also bend the left knee there. Choose the setup that allows you to equally root your sitting bones while sitting tall with the shoulders relaxed. Press down into the ground as you place the right hand behind you, and inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist at your waistline to the right. So left hand is either holding the right leg or hooking the elbow outside of it. Let's continue to breathe, lengthen, and twist for 3 to 4 more breaths. As you exhale, unwind your spine and bring your right shin forward or on top of your left shin. Let's actually set it for eagle pose. So hug the thighs as close to, cow face pose. Hug the thighs as close together as you can. So you might stack your knees down your midline. If this throws you off balance, straighten the bottom leg like this and flex that foot. Or prop your pelvis up on your 2 blocks, side by side. Ground your sitting bones evenly and bend the elbows apart. And let's counteract the back bend by crossing your left elbow over the right in eagle arms. Hook your thumbs or wrap the forearms. Draw the shoulders down and sit tall as you breathe in. And then firm in the belly, keep your heart slightly lifted and bow little by little from the hips for a total of about 5 breaths. So Gomukhasana in the legs, Garudasana in the arms. Root down to your hips, breathe in, slowly rise. Backstroke the arms, stretch the legs forward, maybe shake them out for a moment. Try to set up the same way on the second side of your twist. Left foot in front of the hip, or cross the foot outside the right knee. You might also bend the right knee. Place the left hand behind your pelvis, ground your sitting bones, and sit tall as you breathe in, and twist to the left as you breathe out. Breath by breath. Maybe hook the elbow outside the thigh, or hold the leg with your hand. On your exhalation, unwind your spine and hug your thighs as close together as you can for cow face pose in legs. Remember, you could straighten the bottom leg forward if that helps you to sit more evenly. Bend the elbows apart, cross the right elbow over the left, hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Draw the shoulders and hips down and lift up through the center of your spine as you breathe in. Keep the spine long and hinge from your hips as you breathe out. 5 breaths. Root down to your pelvis. Lead with your heart, lifting from the chest. Breathe in to rise. Stretch both legs forward and straighten them. Maybe circle out your feet. Let's prepare for a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Separate your feet hips distance and root your sitting bones down. Flex your feet. Now you have the option of using a strap as an extension of your arms like this. We give yourself enough slack so that you're able to drop the shoulders and keep the throat open as you're bowing. If you're fine and you're able to reach the big toes to clasp, start with the arms up. Drop the shoulders. Breathe in, sit tall. Breathe out, begin to hinge from the hips, breath by breath. Paschimottanasana. Try to keep a slight lift in the chest, shoulders back. Three more breaths. Root down to your hips. Breathe in, slowly rise. Let's prepare for our last pranayama practice before Shavasana. Alternate nostril breathing. So find a comfortable way to sit, tall and relaxed. Nodi Shodhana pranayama helps to bring balance to our whole being, balance to the brain, the left and right hemispheres, as well as helping us to tune deeper inward. Place the left hand on your lap, maybe Gyan Mudra, to help to tune inward, thumb and index finger touching, palm face up. With your right hand in Vishnu Mudra, stick out the thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. Closing the lips, continue to breathe slowly and softly, more quietly this time, through the nose. You might also close the eyes and direct your gaze inward towards your third eye center. We'll be using the right thumb to close the right nostril like this. We'll be using the right ring and pinky fingers to close the left nostril like this. Alternate nostril breathing. Let's practice 3 cycles of it together and 2 cycles on your own. Prepare to begin by emptying this breath. Right thumb, close right nostril. Inhale through left. Hold the breath. Close left. Exhale right. Hold the breath. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Second round, inhale left. Hold, close left, exhale right. Hold, inhale right, hold, close right, exhale left. Hold. Cycle 3, inhale left. Hold, close left, exhale right. Hold, inhale right, hold, close right, exhale left. Hold. Continue 2 more cycles on your own. Now, when you finish, let go of controlling your breath and sit still for a few moments to observe how you're feeling now. And then begin to lower your entire body to the floor. Find a comfortable way to lie down and rest in stillness for a few minutes in Shavasana. As you keep your eyes closed, scanning your body mentally, notice how you feel now physically. And begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Slowly stretch your arms, your legs. And as you keep the eyes closed, begin to turn over onto your right side, resting your head. Notice the quality of your breathing now. And feel your energy. Sense any difference since you started this practice. And gently lift your body up. Find a way to sit for 5 minutes in meditation. Your pelvis feel grounded, balanced, your spine tall, alert, and your whole being relaxed. You might bring your hands in Gyan Mudra and close the eyes. Let's begin. As we focus on the feeling of connection, our theme throughout the practice today, notice what comes up when you meditate on the word and the feeling and the energy of connection. If it helps, you can mentally chant the mantra, I am connected. I am connected. You might complete that with, what are you connected to? What do you want to affirm your connection to? I'm connected to my body. I'm connected to my heart. I'm connected to the earth. What connection do you want to affirm and feel the strength of? Notice how you are feeling now in mind and heart. And acknowledge something that you appreciate your feeling of connection to at this moment. Remind yourself of your intention for this practice. And bring back that being to whom you dedicated today's practice. Imagine them feeling connection. And to close our practice, let's join our voices together, chanting Om 3 times, sensing your connection to loving life force energy within all of us. Deep breath in. Bowing in, honoring the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.